Millions of people around the world have reported the same terrifying moment. Waking up in the middle of the night, unable to move, and feeling something standing in the room with them. They call it the shadow people. This often happens during sleep paralysis, when the mind wakes up, but the body doesn't. But the terrifying part isn't the paralysis. It's the presence people feel, a presence with intention. Most say they never see a face or a body, only a darkness darker than the dark around it. Some report the room turning cold, instantly. Others say they feel watched, intensely. But here's the strange part. People from different cultures, religions, and continents describe the exact same experience. The pressure in the room. The awareness of something standing there. Something you can feel, but never fully see. Heavy breathing, heart racing, absolute helplessness. And no one knows what the presence really is.
Scientific visualization offers data-driven analysis and modeling, starkly contrasting with cultural
Is
and
it the
mythological
brain
depictions of
misfiring?
supernatural.
Or is it something else entirely? One thing is certain. In part 2, we dive into the theories, scientific, psychological, and supernatural. In part 1, we explored the moment millions wake up and feel an invisible presence standing in their room. Some described fear, others described pressure, but nearly all agreed on one thing: something was there. This wasn't a story from one place. Reports came from every continent, every culture. How can people who never met share the same experience with the same details?
We just want the truth to be known.
Tonight we break it down: the science, the psychology, the unexplained. To understand the shadow, we first need to understand the moment, that thin line between dreaming and waking. And that leads us to the first theory, the one scientists consider the most grounded. Sometimes, your brain wakes up while your body is still paralyzed from REM sleep. Your muscles are locked, your breathing shallow, your senses blurred between dream and reality. In that haze, the mind tries to make sense of the darkness, filling it with familiar human shapes. This could explain why people see a figure that isn't fully there, only a darker patch of night. In sleep labs, this phenomenon appears often. Scientists can trigger similar states. People describe shadows, voices, pressure, yet nothing supernatural is present in the room. So Theory 1 says, the brain fills the dark with fear-shaped hallucinations. But if this is the whole truth, why do the hallucinations look nearly identical worldwide? Psychologists offer a different angle. The brain prefers human shapes when interpreting threats. We evolved to sense predators. Even a shadow becomes a potential figure. When stress rises, or when sleep schedules break, the mind becomes more reactive. You become hyper-aware. Every sound, every shadow feels meaningful. The mind connects the unknown with the familiar silhouette of a person. This theory says shadow people aren't beings, they're patterns. And yet, this still doesn't explain the details people share independently. The same posture, the same distance, the same sense of being watched. Across history, cultures described night spirits, shadow visitors, and beings that appear during sleep. In Japan, the old term kanashibari refers to a force holding the sleeper down at night. In parts of the Middle East, some describe a dark presence standing silently near the bed. In African traditions, a similar force is said to visit during exhaustion or emotional stress. European folklore called them night visitors, figures seen during half-wakefulness. The details change from culture to culture, but the experience stays almost identical. That overlap is what makes this phenomenon so unsettling and so hard to dismiss. If this were only imagination, why would unrelated cultures describe the same silhouette? Some reports challenge every scientific explanation because they happen when people are fully awake. Witnesses say the figure is not seen in the corner of a dream, but in the corner of a lit room. A few describe encounters outdoors, where sleep paralysis cannot be involved at all. Others report seeing a shadow that doesn't match any object in the room, or their own movement. Some claim the figure moves on its own, separate from their paralysis or fear response. The rarest cases involve multiple witnesses seeing the same thing at the same time.
I saw everything. He was right there when it happened.
It was terrifying. I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
These cases don't prove anything supernatural, but they don't fit the rules we know. And that gap between science and experience is where the mystery grows. Scientists, psychologists, and researchers all agree, we don't have the full picture. So new theories try to fill the remaining space, the parts that facts can't cover yet. One theory suggests the brain has an ancient, intruder detection mode that misfires at night. It makes us sense danger long before we see it, sometimes even when it isn't there. Stress, trauma, and sleep deprivation increase the chances of triggering this response. Another line of research looks at environmental factors, like subtle magnetic changes during sleep. Some think shifting air currents or low-frequency vibrations might influence perception. In darkness, the eyes amplify tiny movements and distort shapes without us realizing. So the mind fills the unknown with something familiar, usually a human outline. The timing matches. Most reports happen between 2 and 4 in the morning, a period when the brain is most vulnerable and the body least responsive. These theories explain a lot, but they don't explain everything. And the unanswered pieces are where this phenomenon becomes truly unsettling. For many, this isn't about mystery. It's about losing sleep, losing peace, losing control. The fear can linger long after the shadow disappears. Some sleep with lights on for years, afraid of waking into paralysis again. Therapists say the emotional impact is as real as any physical condition. Even if the shadow isn't real, The fear
It sounds like
absolutely
you've made
is.
significant progress this week. How does that feel?
Honestly, I feel lighter than I have in years.
And that
I'm
is
ready
why
for it.
understanding this
Yeah.
phenomenon genuinely matters. In part 3, we go beyond theories and enter a real bedroom with real equipment. We'll find out what happens when the phenomenon finally appears in front of a camera. So we're left with one unavoidable truth. The shadow never moves, never attacks. It only watches. People look for signs, footsteps, doors opening, objects shifting. Yet none of that ever happens. There is only the silent presence, as if the figure exists between the layers of perception. In labs, no camera has ever captured the shadow. It appears only to the person experiencing it. One theory suggests these visions are a protective glitch, your mind detecting danger even when none exists. But another theory says the opposite. The shadow appears because your mind senses something real. A presence that the conscious mind cannot decode, but the subconscious can. This theory argues the figure isn't a hallucination, but an interpretation of something hidden. Light, angles, and silence can distort perception, but not enough to match the identical reports. Because the strangest part is this: the reports match across continents, decades, and languages. The same height, the same stillness, the same position near the bed. And most sightings occur at nearly the same time of night, between 3 and 4 a.m. Different people, different cultures, waking at the same minute, seeing the same figure. So the question becomes, are these shadows created by the mind, or drawn to it? Some believe the figure represents a psychological guardian, fear taking form to protect you. Others believe it's a warning, a signal that something in your life is out of balance. And then, there are those who believe the shadow is not inside the mind at all. They suggest it's something ancient, something that exists just outside human perception. And if that's true, then the shadow isn't appearing to us. It's been here all along, watching, waiting,